It's time for Monday with the Manager here on 18 WJTS, and we are in Ferdinand talking with Town Manager Chris James. So I understand you have quite a big weekend coming up here in Ferdinand.
You could say that, Ann, yes. Our 10th annual Ferdinand Folk Festival, it's this Saturday at the 18th Street Park. Everything starts up at about 11 a.m. with our music on the main stage, and we'll run through 9 o'clock that night. This week, we'll be busy prepping the park, getting picnic tables in place, getting the booth spaces set up, getting the stage in, all of the things that we've kind of had on standby to do. We have to wait until late this week to really do them, kind of hurry up and wait on a lot of aspects of it, but looking forward to seeing a lot of people come into town. We've got, I think, 15 food booths, almost 3 dozen arts and crafts vendors, another dozen or so environmental and educational vendors that folks can visit. And then also we've got a lot of activities. We've got obviously the big acts on the main stage. We also have our market stage set up. Big Bounce Funhouse will be setting up their inflatables in the ball field again this year. And then we've got a variety of other activities for the young or young at heart, as the case may be. A lot of times, Grandma and Grandpa bring the kids in for some of the events, so everybody gets to enjoy those in the lower shelter house. And obviously the playground area is there if the kids want to run and frolic on that. So we're looking forward to this one being our biggest and best folk festival yet. Every year we kind of build it up a little bit more, and this being the 10th anniversary edition of it. Bruce Coburn is our headline artist, so we decided to increase our music budget a little bit more to bring in a really big name, so to speak, and we're thrilled that he's coming in, and we're pleased with the entire rotation of performers as well. So it's going to be a very hectic week getting things prepared, but the payoff will be on Saturday, and invite everyone to come out to 18th Street Park for the Folk Fest this weekend.
So are there any new features this year?
We try to freshen things up a little bit every year. Some parts of it, you don't mess with the formula. If it's A, B, and C, then you stay with A, B, and C. Some of our children's activities are different this year. We've got a Bouncer production. It's a trained dog, and he'll be doing a couple of shows that afternoon. We'll also have Indie Fringe, and they are a kind of a traveling entertainment. We'll have them set up actually in part of one of the art and crafts vendor areas, and they have it's basically a fancy truck with a pull-out stage, and they rotate performances between a comedian and a clown. And so they'll be alternating performances through the course of the afternoon. So as folks are strolling through the vendor locations, they can stop and be entertained there as well. So a couple of new things there. We've got a tiny house coming in again this year. We had one, I think it was 3 years ago, was a very big hit. We've looked to bring somebody back, if not that group, another one, and it's just never worked out. Either they don't have a house available to bring, or the schedules didn't work right. This year we've got, it's called Carpenter Owl House, and all of this information is on our website, ferdinandfolkfestival.com. But they actually, it's a tiny house, and it's like a concert venue as well. And they have people perform on scene. And so we'll be taking some of that as well. They'll have, I think we've sent the word out to our different performers from our market stage area. If they would like to perform a couple of songs in the Owl House, they're welcome to do so. And we'll also have a drone this year. Bryce Bettag, a Ferdinand resident, he has a company, and he's volunteered to come in and send the drone over and get that aerial perspective of things. So we had that a few years ago, and it really highlighted, you could kind of see the crowd build as the day went on the hillside. We'll look to get the same kind of perspective from Bryce again this year. So some of the old reliables are back, and then we've got some of the new stuff as well. So we're looking forward to a fun-filled day on Saturday.
So obviously it's a very big event for your community. What's parking going to be like at this?
Parking, the Ferdinand Community Center, we have to tip our hat to those folks. They purposely leave that weekend open on their schedule, so there's no wedding or reception or any event that weekend. So they handle all of our overflow parking, and we have a lot of it. We have our main parking lot that is filled up. We have our handicap locations there, and then a lot of the vendors will park along the road leading back to the upper end of the park. A lot of the vendors will access their booth space by traveling in by the cul-de-sac and down through the grassy area, offload their equipment and bring it back out. So they fill up a lot of those spaces, and then obviously all of the folks who come to visit, whether they come for one particular artist and then leave, or they're there at 9:30 in the morning, they've got their spot on the hillside marked, and they're there until everything is done that night. Parking could be a challenge, depending on how close you want to park. Get there very early. And because it's a free event, there's no parking charge or anything, so you can come and go as you wish. But if you have a good spot when you pull out, don't expect that spot to still be there when you come back, because someone else will have scooped it up pretty quickly. But we've had a lot of success with the community center, and even up by the library and the YMCA, because everything connects in with our trails program. If folks want to park there and take a little bit longer stroll down, they're able to do that as well. So there will be ample parking. You may just have to walk a little bit farther once you've found that spot to get down to the park and make a day of it. So it's worked out very well in the past.
And what about those who have disabilities? Will be any special parking for them?
We do have handicap parking in the 18th Street parking lot, and they'll be designated. We got the placard set up, and we have basically a whole front row along our curb stop area. That's where those folks will be able to park. And even if the parking space isn't available, there will be room that if they need to stop, let someone out, and then they go find their spot, and then that individual can make their way in. We have accommodations for that as well, so nobody gets left out.
Well, thanks for joining us today, and you've been watching Monday with the Manager with Town Manager Chris James. Be sure to come to the Ferdinand Folk Fest this weekend on Saturday. You've been watching 18 WJTS, Local People Watching Local People.